Hi, this is Frits and Boris at Joranalogue. We're doing a bit of a live patching session. We're just trying to have fun, or having fun here. It's a first, so it's a test. It's a bit up to you if you have questions, patch ideas, stuff you would like us to explain a bit more in depth. Please post your questions in the chat and we'll try and answer them, make the patches you would like to hear. And if there's no real questions coming, we're just gonna have fun and maybe inspire you to ask some questions or
explain some stuff.
Explain some stuff, yeah.
Just ask what you want to see and
yeah,
we'll try to show it.
All right.
Do you have a rhythm somewhere, Boris?
Yeah, I've got a clock here. This is the clock.
Ah, yeah.
I'm just gonna make some sort of
Thanks.
kick on the first.
Ah, it's a division. It's 1/8.
No, just go ahead.
Ah, yeah. Let's see.
Kijk een klein baskickje doen of ga jij het doen?
Zal ik
Ja, doe jij dat.
some percussion? think someone gave a comment. You want to have some more explanation about LFO mode for Generate 3, or what's the exact question?
Maybe it's nice to use Generate 3 in LFO mode for some CV modulation on a rhythm, and then use the reset to have it in the rhythm or out of the rhythm.
Ah, yeah.
Maybe on a hi-hat pattern or something.
Yeah, then it's, yeah.
I'm gonna unpatch this, it's gonna be easier to demonstrate some stuff. Oh, nu hebben we helemaal geen sound meer, Frits. Ja.
But now I lost my clock.
Okay, I'll have to give you a
own.
clock. Where is your clock? Where does it need to come?
That
Here.
one, yeah.
This is the clock. Tack. Clock for you. Yeah, that should be it. Going here, this is going there. I'll do some hi-hats or something.
So we have a kick drum here, we generate 3. Maybe I try the other one to create some wobbly bass line. Because you see this generate 3 doesn't have a VCA on the back, so it keeps oscillating.
we could use Generate 3 in low frequency mode to modulate the rate of contour in order to get some hi-hat pattern going. Nice thing to do is to make it unipolar. First, let's take the full output, but only use the fundamental for now, the sine wave. Take that out and then start modulating the rate. So we get a little variation in there, but the variation is not in sync with the general clock. So what we could do is we could take our clock out of link 2, because that's where the clock is coming from. Step sequence is step 8, and divide our clock by 8, for example, and reset Generate 3 every 8 step. So now we get a repeating rhythm, depending also on the pitch. If we want the modulation to be less, we can dial that in by having less of our fundamental wave or more.
And I'm kind of doing the same with the pitch modulation from the kick drum you're hearing, so they just get the same trigger to reset every time.
If we want this every 7th step, we can. Any other questions or suggestions, super welcome. So now we can start changing this modulation of the hi-hat by adding in more harmonics into Generate 3 that's been used as an LFO. And maybe use that same modulation to start modulating the source of our hi-hat, which is Orbit 3.
Orbit 3 is a very nice module for drum sounds.
Drum sounds, yeah.
For noise.
The hi-hats, and I think your clap Frits is also, or clap snary thing,
whatever
is also coming from Orbit 3. Yeah, that one. Yeah, thanks Rauke. Instant funkiness if you start changing your reset point of step 8, so dividing by 6, by 7, by 8, changes up the whole pattern. Sound oversturen. This is a bit too loud. Yeah. Okay. Same modulation now into the pitch of Orbit. Could modulate a bit more, maybe use a different Generate 3 in low frequency mode that is not synced to the rhythm for the distribution of our Orbit 3 sound. Hard to hear now. more stuff and then use generate 3 to modulate it. Yes, Stefan. Let's try this. It's a good suggestion from Stefan to use step 8 as some sort of oscillator for bass. It can't be used as an oscillator, but you can feed it an oscillator in certain ways and make sound with it.
Step 8 can be a harmonic oscillator.
It can, yeah. It
but
can
we
be a
need
harmonic
something
oscillator.
to clock it.
So we'll use, let's say we'll use this step 8 for that. To use an oscillator like generate in, let's say in full mode. Again, make it unipolar. Because the stage input of step, which is actually the CV or the CV for selecting a step in step 8, is you can select a step from 0 to 5 volts. So we'll use generate 3 and make it unipolar. So from 0 to 5 volts, use the output from bias and put that in the stage input. As you can see, we're now scanning through all of these stages at the frequency of the generate 3 that we're feeding into the stage input. If we now take let's say the scan output for good measure, route it through a filter that for now I'm just not going to use. It's completely open. And no CV in there. And then this is coming from that filter. This is at the input. Now we're hearing nothing because all of the stages of step 8 are closed. But once we start, I'll start opening this. So we can actually do some wave shaping here. So what's happening now at the full output of generate 3, let's say we'll start with the core output. We're now going quickly through all of these stages. So we can do some PWM. Like this, we've got a 50% square wave. Like this, it's only 25%. So you can start shaping your sound. For bass, we just lower the generate 3 frequency, and we could, because we've got a step 8 running here at our clock frequency, we take the scan out, put it into the exponential FM or the volt per octave, and we can start making. Start making a frequency, a little melody. Reset it at the 7th step for good measure, and add in some filtering. We've also got a contour running here that's being triggered every time this step is being triggered, which we can then use to open and close the VCA on our. And now we're using step 8 as a wave shaper.
There is only one problem, I guess, with this patch. It's not really a problem, but oscillator is oscillating positive and not like positive and negative. So we have a bias module to actually fix this.
Yeah.
For now it's not really a problem because we're just jamming, but if you really want to use this sound, it's better to make it bipolar, except for unipolar, instead of unipolar, to avoid
gives you more headroom in your mixer. So
but that's why we have bias to
we can do it now.
Problem.
So we can just take our signal out.
Maybe we can use a select. Yeah, it's not bias.
Or we can use bias, because
but to see it,
then
that it becomes, but never mind.
So yeah, we can do it. I don't know if you're gonna be able to see it, but this is a completely unipolar signal. So we've got only red coming out, which means positive.
Yeah.
By now adding in or subtracting with the B channel 5 volts, it becomes purple, or red and blue together, which means we've got a bipolar signal now. But bias does this in 2HP, and then we're not using our select 2, which we might use later on in the patch. So bias 2 does this in its...
it's made for this.
Yeah, it's you can make unipolar or bipolar unipolar in the first section. The second section is especially there to
do the opposite.
Yeah.
And you think you don't find these oscillators on the market, but apparently they are there, oscillators that only oscillate in a unipolar way instead of bipolar.
So now we've got a bipolar signal. Filter it a little bit, but actually most of the harmonic things you can start doing here.
Can you patch the core after this directly into the step input? Because I'm curious if it will make a difference.
Yes.
Just to, because I would have done this patch, I would patch the core straight into the step, but this isn't wrong or in any way, it's just different. Yet
core into step would have...
just so you bypass this bias thing you did. It's this
what are you doing?
So this is the core.
Let Frits
just want to hear. It was this one.
Yeah.
This is deeper.
Yeah. Then
because now it's half of the frequency, right?
It's an eighth of the frequency actually, because every time this one does one cycle, step is gonna do
one step.
Yeah. So at the output we're gonna have an eighth of the frequency.
Right.
Whereas if we're using the stage output, we're gonna have the full frequency.
Now it's more like a clock divider, but the thing we can do here is still the same kind of. But we need a higher frequency to make it work.
And actually, for Stefan's question, it was for bass lines. This sounds quite good for a bass line. So we still got control.
Now we can also do voltage manual clock divisions.
Yeah. So
now we got a divided by 2, by 8.
We're using stage and right, maybe add in your bass kick again and
I deleted it.
Use
another one.
Another contour here to open and close the filter. Any other questions, Stefan? Are you happy with the answer, or do you have additional questions related to this?
Literally, guys, ask us anything you want to see. We're here for this today. Otherwise, we just have fun, but we love to show you stuff you want to explore with a Joranalogue system. So maybe we can push you to get our modules. So let's do the kick thingy.
generate 3 again in low frequency mode to modulate the envelope on the bass line.
Wat luider en hij niet te klippen. Yeah. Can you go a bit softer, Boris? A bit lower in volume? So
yep.
I can push my beautiful kick. And I will saturate this kick a bit by clipping mix 3. I will go into another one.
I'll do some carpless strong. Aha! But could you perhaps show some through zero FM sounds? Many thanks. Yeah?
I will do it, yeah.
Yep.
I will just start again from scratch.
We can do through zero FM sounds, the two of us. Up. So
I will listen to the core out of Generate 3 and use filter 8 as modulator. I will put a VCA behind. Maybe listen to the fundamental. Maybe I can make a quick random patch again to kinda hear all the sonic possibilities of true zero modulation with our generate and filter 8 patch. So I have generate 3 as carrier and filter 8 as modulator. And I will make from step 8 again a kind of pseudo random module, a random generator. So contour is the clock for step 8. I'm gonna sample orbit 3, and orbit step 8 is in shift register modus, in sample mode and in all mode. So now you can see it shifts all the random voltages. But now we can use this to try different frequency ratios between the two sound sources. But you also want different ratios, I guess, between the frequency modulation. So we're gonna take filter 8, put it into mix 3 and modulate this one. And then we go back into here.
Simpler Sounds asks if he may hear the VCA with AM, audio rate AM. We've got a little, so we've got two VCAs, Morph and Mix 3. I'll start with Mix 3. Psyf or Psyf, this is still so this is Generate 3 coming through as a without through 0 FM, and then there's a filter 8 through 0 FMing it through a VCA, so you only hear the through 0 FM when this contour is triggered. And then you can of course use a step 8 to sequence the frequency there. But if we remove the through 0 FM from it, we just have a nice triangle wave, which we can now AM, modulate the amplitude of. Again, let's use a unipolar signal up in here, so we won't hear anything, and have filter 8, for example, in self-resonance at audio rates, modulate. So depending on the two frequencies, filter 8 is now amplitude modulating the output of Generate 3. We can now use step 8 to need some longer cables.
Longer cables
there?
for
Yeah.
Boris.
All right. So that's the one. Modulate both frequencies. No, this one. So both frequencies are modulated with a different step 8. One is running in 7 steps, the other one in 8 steps, so you get this moire pattern. Yeah. And that's through Mix 3. Mix 3, our exponential VCA. Same thing could be done through. Thank you, Tom. Could be done through Morph 4, which is, well, the sounds are going to be comparable. So let's take this fundamental out from the same generate, input it here, take the audio out, add it into the mix. And use yet another filter aid to modulate its frequency via the level input, or maybe even better via the morph modulation. Use a step modulation from step 8 to mess with the frequency of the modulator. Well, Frits is doing some nice stereo stuff.
I'm just using enhance to pan the other through zero patch through left right. I can say it again, enhance is a really nice module to do all your stereo processing or whatever. I really like the balance feature. It's not the simple VCA, it's really like the law of panning, and it sounds really natural.
It's nice to use as an end of chain module, but it's also super nice to just use it in the beginning of the chain to already do some stereo sound design and modulate balance or the width of your mix.
Or try using the tilt filters. They're very nice to entertain your patch because they're not drastically filtering. It always keeps something, so it can make your
since
patch a bit more.
The complete mix is now going through enhance.
So we can, it's a unique feature.
The tilt filter in treble mode.
Maybe put it on mono for a moment. So
this is mono,
you can. So it has two center frequencies. I think one is at 150 and one is at 300 or something.
Yeah, 250 something. And then if we get the stereo back into the mix.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. Here I come.
We can control the tilt filter strictly on the sides, so give it more bass or more high, less bass. Nice thing we could do now since we're on the topic of Enhance 2, most of the mix is just mono. What Frits is doing is stereo, so that's gonna go through the side channel. Take the side channel out and patch it through a wave folder, for example. So only the material in the stereo field is gonna get folded. Might sound harsh, but we'll see what it does. So you can tell that most of the material in the mix is not being wave folded, it's the stereo material is being folded back.
Can't we patch something in the this is a stereo content, I guess, when we patch something here to let them hear the side.
Just do your
So this should only be the sides, because I put a dummy cable back into the mid input. So now we can hear my human electricity. And now?
I just I did this because this is all the mono content actually.
Without... Yeah, but you can open it.
Yeah,
So.
that is here and here.
Yeah,
Yeah, because width is open a little bit.
yeah, but maybe the stereo and put it in the... Now we only have side content and now the mid also, and vice versa, but you're processing it already with this. You can get some very trippy effects with this. It's not always useful, the sounds, because the correlation meter is sometimes going into the red, but it's fun to listen to.
An interesting question from Stefan. How would you transition between CV sequences like a DJ would from track to track?
We could do it with more 4 as a crossfader. Or pivot, we have pivot now maybe for... pivot is a crossfader.
I think you could have a transition, could use more 4 to transition between 2 step 8s, for example.
Yeah.
It's gonna sound...
Now we have root for that. So.
Yeah, it's true. That might be
I
an
would just
patch.
distribute the clock to root and then with a switch. And that's it.
Yeah.
Simple, huh? Many options to do this.
Well, the easiest way to transition is just to change your settings on step 8.
I actually...
Yeah, that's... let's maybe make...
But let's say you have a different sequence, maybe. Or you have 2 separate sequences that you like
We'll
to
make
use.
a simple subtractive... synthesizer New Zealand, hi Robin. More 4, most underestimated and secret weapon. Yeah, you're right. Wait. Fuck.
No matter.
It doesn't matter. So it's this output here and output here.
So actually you could use Morph 2 as a kind of crossfader, but it's kind of a big module to only use it as a crossfader. So I'm also thinking about pivot to use, because it's almost just a crossfader in a module and way more, but in the hearts it's also a crossfader. But I guess you don't really want to morph between sequences, you want to hardly switch between them, so Boris will make a patch for that. I will
you do the root one, I'll do the more 4 one, and then we can explain the difference.
Clocks. With different clocks.
Or with the same clock, I'll give you
it can be cool to have separate clocks, I guess.
Yes, as well. Yeah. Go for it.
So like
thanks, Robin. Good morning to you. Here it's evening already.
Like you notice, every time we do this, we use contour or another oscillator as clock kinda. And for some people, this is maybe still strange, but you know, everything that's oscillating and that goes up and down can actually be a clock. So yeah, we just use whatever we have in our hands.
Yeah.
And like when you adjust the rate, you can play with the speeds. Yeah. You're gonna do the voice, or I will do the...
I'll transition
voice
between 2 steps using morph,
and I make a synth voice.
And you transition between 2 steps using route, or you make a synth voice, and I'll give you the CV.
I do the synth voice, and I have 1 step 2 here, so maybe.
Yeah, cool.
With a different clock.
Yeah.
So do your thing.
I'll do my thing. So let's say first step 8 is our first, and second step 8 is our second melody, and we want to transition between those 2. Let's take channel A and channel C, and we put the position of channel A to the left, position of channel C to the right. So when morph is to the left, we'll get the output of channel A. When the morph knob is to the right, we'll get the input of channel C. I'll turn B and D down for now. You'll hear what's gonna happen. I'll give you pitch CV.
Yeah, I want the gates in the upper one and the pitch in the third one.
Okay. So I'll give you gates from here.
In the upper one?
Yeah. and the CV in the lower one.
And the third one.
So CV we're gonna take from more 4. Yeah. Third one.
Yes.
Shaka.
Thank you.
Subtractive
Yeah, we're
voice.
almost there. I'm gonna take 2 full outputs and I'm gonna use the 2 inputs on filter 8, which I honestly don't do that often, but it's there. And we take low pass 3, I think. And here we have, it's a fast clock you're running.
Spencer says his next case is all Joranalogue. I can only agree to that. It's nice to have mixed cases, but it's a lot of fun to have a case that's got the complete concept of or the modules that are built with the same idea in mind.
That's true. Personally, I'm someone who loves modular a lot, and I like mixing up brands. Like I love every brand can have something cool. It's my opinion, but you have all these different standards between how many volt do you need to open a VCA fully, and this can sometimes be a pain in the ass when combining brands, because the one brand's envelope doesn't fully open. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, so now we're hearing the melody.
But maybe a bit slower.
Yep.
The clock.
Melody on this step 8. Step 8 on the right doesn't have any melody. And what we're doing now by morphing is we're gonna mix the CVs on the left step 8 with the CVs on the right step 8, which is not necessarily gonna sound musical, but it will give you things you wouldn't expect, and you might come up with really nice stuff in a live performance just by morphing. So the more we go to the right, the more we're gonna go to not a melody, the same pitch. On the right we don't have anything. On the left we have our melody. And in the middle there's interesting points. Maybe if you, yeah. So this is interesting. If we then
Sequence.
make a nice sequence on the here, we've got this one, but we've got everything in between. And it's just by switching this around, you can transition between this and this. That's one approach to transitioning between melodies. By making the 2 step 8s not run the same amount of steps, you make it even more interesting. Misschien moeten we nu, maybe it's time now for a little bass kick. Use this melody.
Oh yeah,
and,
yeah, maybe it's time.
We've got 7 minutes
But
left.
I need a clock. Can I get another clock again, sir?
Indeed, simpler sounds. So you get a complete microtonal. There's no quantization in our system. So you get these microtones, which I find very, very interesting and can be super musical at times. Any other questions, please shoot. Ga je hem kickski? Ja. Zal ik weer een hi-hatje doen? How would you create a hold stage with contour? I'll show you. That's a good question, Synthesizer New Zealand. Time will tell. So a hold stage with contour. I'll show. Maybe with just a simple. Maybe answer the question first. So let's say we've got a. Give me a second here. Up. I need to patch this. It's actually as simple as using the hold input. So let's say this is. We're having a filter 8 that we modulate with a looping contour. Yes. Now, if we wanna, where is switch 4? We've got switch 4 here, outputting 0 volts at the moment. So the modulation is just modulating the pitch of this filter 8. When I put 5 volts or a gate into contour 1, this is gonna hold where contour 1 was at the moment I switched it. So now it's going, and now it's not. And we can actually use this sound and have it maybe re-trigger contour. Since this is quite cool, maybe use a little wave folder to give that sound a bit more punch. Noise from orbit, which we're gonna use for a hi-hat again. Oh. Transitioning between melodies. Veel bas en nu een baskick. Zijn een baskick?
Ja, dat is. But I want to get a VCA behind it, so it's
het doen? Dat is uw bas, hè?
Yeah. And here I'm actually holding one of the contours that does the envelope that's being sent to filter 8. It holds it.
Yeah, just a bit of improvisational patching based on your questions and on what was patched in the system at the moment. Thank you all for being here. Thank you all for the questions. I hope it was interesting. Let us know if you would like to see more of these sessions. I think Frits and I quite enjoy doing this.
Yeah, for sure. But it would be nice to really see your patch IDs maybe next time. We really want to show you what you want to see that's being done with the Joranalogue system, I guess, because maybe there is stuff you're hesitating about for buying it, or you want to see like a drone with 6 generates or whatever. Ask us this stuff and we'll try to
There's no stupid questions, there's only stupid answers. So if not now in the live chat, in the comments, or just drop us a line on the socials with questions for the next session, and we'd be very happy to make a patch around it and make an improvisation around it. So thank you very much.
Yes.
And have a good evening or a good day. Bye.
Bye.